The salmon's final journey, a life cycle defined by death and rebirth in the realm of evolutionary biology. Few life histories are as compelling or as dramatic as that of the Pacific salmon Anchorhinchus spp, born in fresh water, maturing in the vastness of the ocean, and returning to their birthplace to spawn and die. Salmon exemplifies Semelparity, a reproductive strategy characterized by a single, often fatal reproductive event. The story of their life is not only one of endurance, but of deep ecological interdependence, sacrifice, and renewal. Birth and early development in freshwater. The life of a salmon begins as a fertilized egg deposited beneath gravel in the cold, oxygen-rich waters of a river or stream. These gravel nests, known as redds, provide protection from predators and environmental fluctuations. Inside their translucent egg casings, embryos develop, sustained by yolk sacs while absorbing subtle chemical cues from their natal streamer, process called olfactory imprinting that will later guide their return. After hatching, the young alevins remain buried within the substrate, gradually absorbing their yolk sacs. As they develop into fry, they emerge from the gravel and begin feeding. The early stream environment is a sanctuary of clarity and abundance, offering food, shelter, and community. Here, countless juvenile salmon grow amidst the flowing currents and aquatic vegetation, engaging in social behavior and forming loose schools. This stage of their life is brief but critical. During this period, the salmon avoid major predators, build physical strength, and establish physiological pathways that will support them later in life. It is one of the few moments of relative peace in a life otherwise defined by struggle and urgency. Smoltification and ocean migration in their second or third year, driven by internal hormonal changes and environmental triggers such as increasing day length and water temperature. Salmon undergo smoltification, a complex physiological transformation that prepares them for life in salt water. They develop silvery scales, improved osmoregulatory abilities, and behavioral shifts that initiate downstream migration. Carried by river currents, they travel from their headwaters to the estuaries and eventually to the open ocean. The transition is rapid. Familiar forests and stones vanish behind them, replaced by the vast expanse of the Pacific. For the next several years, typically 2 to 4, they live a nomadic life, traversing thousands of kilometers across marine habitats. During this pelagic phase, salmon feed voraciously on plankton, small fish, squid, and krill. The ocean provides an abundance of food, enabling them to grow exponentially and store massive energy reserves. At this stage, their bodies become sleek and powerful, built for endurance and survival. It is in the ocean that they develop the physical foundation for the most demanding phase of their life cycle. The irresistible call to return at the age of maturity, usually 4 to 5 years. A dramatic physiological shift occurs, driven by the Earth's magnetic fields, photoperiod cues, temperature, and their memory of natal waters. Salmon begin the long return migration to their birthplaces. This instinctual call is so powerful that it overrides all other impulses. What makes this migration extraordinary is that, from the moment salmon re-enter fresh water, they stop feeding. Their digestive systems begin to shut down, and all energy is diverted to propulsion and reproduction. Their bodies deteriorate even as they push forward. Muscles are consumed, organs atrophy. The journey becomes a biological countdown to death, yet the determination to return is unwavering. In the eyes of millions of salmon, the same internal fire burns, a collective urge toward a single ancestral destination. Navigating the gauntlet, the upstream battle as salmon re-enter rivers and begin their upstream climb. They face a crucible of physical challenges. Waterfalls, strong currents, shallow rapids, and narrow passages must be overcome without food, rest, or retreat. Each obstacle requires bursts of energy that further weaken their bodies. Compounding the physical strain are numerous predators. Bald eagles patrol overhead, diving swiftly to snatch weakened fish. Brown bears stand sentinel at strategic bottlenecks, capturing salmon with terrifying efficiency. Parasites such as lampreys attach to their skin, draining vital energy. Every bend in the river holds the potential for death. Despite these threats, salmon do not turn back. Their mission is not survival, it is reproduction. Even as their flesh deteriorates, even as bones fracture from collisions with rocks, and exhaustion takes hold, they continue. This willingness to endure, To die is a biological mandate encoded in their DNA. Reproductive transformation and the final act in the final stages of the journey. The salmon undergo dramatic external changes. Males develop deep red coloration, humped backs, and hooked jaw, sexual dimorphisms used in displays of dominance and competition. Females also turn red and develop robust bodies to dig nests and guard territory. Their external appearance becomes grotesque, a visual manifestation of inner decay and singular purpose. Upon arrival at the spawning grounds, usually the same stream where they were born, the female selects a suitable area, then uses her tail to dig a red in the gravel. Males compete aggressively for access to spawning females, often engaging in physical combat. Once the nest is ready, the female lays hundreds to thousands of eggs, and the male releases milt to fertilize them. This act marks the conclusion of the salmon's life purpose. Shortly afterward, their bodies begin to shut down entirely. Deprived of energy and riddled with infection, they die within days of spawning. Their corpses litter the riverbed, returning valuable nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and carbon back into the ecosystem. These nutrients support aquatic invertebrates, riparian vegetation, and even land mammals that rely on nutrient cycling, facilitated by decomposing salmon. Ecological and evolutionary significance. This phenomenon where adult organisms invest all resources into a single reproductive event before death is known as Semelparity, a life history strategy observed in species like octopuses, mayflies, and agave plants. In salmon, it is an evolutionary trade-off. Reproduction is maximized and survival is forfeited. Moreover, the role of salmon in ecosystem health is irreplaceable. Their carcasses fertilize rivers and forests, influencing tree growth, bird migration, and insect abundance. Their migration transports marine nutrients deep inland, linking ocean and forest in a unique ecological chain. The next generation hatches within a few weeks or months, blind and fragile, unaware that the flesh nurturing their early growth comes from the very bodies of their parents. Thus, the cycle begins again. Conclusion. Life through death. The salmon's journey is more than an individual quest. It is a powerful biological phenomenon that bridges life and death, ocean and forest, one generation and the next. In choosing to die for the sake of reproduction, salmon embody one of nature's most profound truths, that life persists not by resisting death, but by transforming it into nourishment for what comes next. Their story is not simply about endurance or instinct. It is about legacy, ecological connectivity, and the extraordinary cost of life's continuity. In the end, through decomposition and sacrifice, the salmon do not vanish. They live on in their offspring, in the ecosystem, and in the rivers that remember their return.